Hey guys. Sorry I'm having a little trouble tonight getting my doo-doo together. Dave and Andrea, Micah. Wow, Mark. Mark, home from are you home from rehab? Oh, you're still in rehab. How you feeling, brother? Tina. So it's like a house concert because everybody's here. Who else we got? Let's see. I can barely see. Oh, Helen. All right, Switzerland in the house. Hi, Helen. Roger. Andrea and Dave from Buffalo, two of my oldest friends. The Gardeners, Micah and Desiree, who are also our new um, uncle and aunt dog sitters. Tina. And Mark. Is Mark here? Oh, yeah, Mark. We have two Marks. Mr. Globe. Wow, it's been an eventful week. Let's see if I can talk softly and retain my voice for the whole time that we're together. So, there's a lot of really good, interesting, funny Jimmy Buffett stories that I wanted to tell. And I'm going to tell a couple of them, but some of them are hard to tell just because of the circumstances. But I don't know if you noticed, there's a flag behind me, which is the Conch Republic flag. And back in, I think it was 81 or 82, the Florida Keys seceded from the Union because they were doing these searches of illegal searches of people's cars, ostensibly for humans, but was really so the cops could take our drugs. And so we burned the Jewfish Creek Bridge in effigy and seceded from the Union. It says 1828, but really it was 1982, as I recall. And anyway, it's interesting because I came down here on my motorcycle with my dog, and it was an interesting thing for me because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to live in Washington, D.C. anymore or thereabouts. Didn't want to have anything to do with that area. And one of the first people I met down here. Hey, Danny. That's correct. So I still have Danny Cohn's bass that I bought from him 40 years ago. It's not in here. It's in the bedroom. It's in the... Susie, you should go get that and bring it. It's hanging in Nyan's room. The Univox bass, and I'll show it. It's a very cool thing. But one of the first people I met down here was Bob Baker, who passed away a while ago, late last year. And he's actually the first person that turned me on to Jimmy Buffett. And I remember we were driving to Marathon, Bob and I. We were driving to Key West. But when we got to the 7 Mile Bridge, he had this old kind of gold-colored truck. We had just put a new motor in. And, here she comes. And it's a week of old friends. Here's my lovely spokesmodel. We see her hand. Check this out, Danny. Look at that sucker. It's in perfect shape. I've rewired the pickups twice because they kind of fell apart. But, you know, this thing's got to be, this thing's got to be close to 50 years old, right? And everybody who comes in the studio wants to play it. In fact, one of our really relatively famous producer friends borrows it every time he comes into town. So when Bob and I got to the 7 Mile Bridge, he said, "Wait." I said, "What? What are we waiting for?" He goes, "You can't do this." I go, "What can't you do?" And he got out a cassette. I think it was an 8-track, actually. You kids don't know what those are, but it's like a big, flat CD the size of a sandwich. And he said, "We have to put on Jimmy Buffett, because once you get to the 7 Mile Bridge, that's what you have to listen to." And I said, "Okay." And we listened to Jimmy Buffett all the way to Key West. And what does it say? I can't read what you said, Mark. And that was kind of my first introduction to really listening to Jimmy Buffett music. And I really liked it. And it actually inspired a song or two. I think it inspired the 7 Mile Bridge song. Which is a whole nother story. But I'll tell you some more Buffett songs, but I'll play a song first. That's kind of hard to do. So when I started working with Lenore Troya, the stories are not in any kind of order, but I've kind of orbited around Jimmy Buffett for about 40 some years, probably 43 years. I was playing with Lenore Troya in this band. She used to do a lot of interesting. Hey, Dewey. She used to do a lot of Jimmy Buffett songs, and when I met her, she was new in the Keys, and I went to see her because I was, in the habit of visiting new musicians, seeing what they're about, and I listened to her show, and we had dinner, and there's a funny story about the dinner, because I had just seen Good Morning Vietnam, and she had comfortable shoes on, So I made a joke about being gay, and she goes, "How did you know I was gay?" And I said, "You've got comfortable shoes." She goes, "What?" And then I had to explain to her that it was Robin Williams things, and I didn't really know that she was gay. But anyway, and so from then on, we were a musical couple. But she said, "I'm going to become the next girl Jimmy Buffett and make $1 million, buy a house in the Keys, find a beautiful woman, marry her, and live happily ever after." And that's what she did. She wrote some amazing songs, kind of in that island style. And she went on to be extremely successful, married a beautiful girl, and lives happily ever after in Michigan. And I had to play Jimmy Buffett songs with her. And it was interesting because it's not the kind of music that I was interested in. They were great songs, but I wasn't interested in them. And, but we were working in the Keys, so we played Buffett songs. And it was really, Tina remembers, Tina used to pick out my shirts. Until I married Susie, then Susie picked out my shirts. But you always have to have a female consultant or somebody who knows something about clothes. We would call that roommate eye for the straight guy. Although I don't think I was officially straight till I married Susie. Hey, Robert. Is that Bongo Bob? Which Bob is that? I can't see. Oh, it's Robert Sachs, back from China. Actually, I had to play Jimmy Buffett songs with Robert, too. So anyway, so that was kind of playing with Robert and Lenore was my introduction to actually playing Jimmy Buffett songs. And I was basically strumming along being an accompanist. And even the Van Morrison songs that Jimmy played, like this one, where Robert and I played at the clothing optional pool. And I played this one for Abby. Hey, Joanna. Yeah, whew. It's tough. Tough to do. Been thinking about Jimmy all day yesterday and today, and what an amazing, what an amazing guy. Uh, like I said, we kind of orbited for years. Um, when I first came to the Keys, I needed a visible means of support, and one of the things that I was doing with my electronics background was, believe it or not, my friend Phil and I would install translator antennas and CB radios in cars and car stereos and fancy alarms and things like that. It was really fun, and there was a friend of ours named Fred who had a store called TNT in Key Largo, and one day he called me. Well, first he called me and he said, "Get up here quick, Otmar Liebart's here." And I got all the way up there, and I didn't know who Otmar Liebart was either, and he had left already, and Fred turned me on to some of his music, which was interesting too. And this was after I had already started experimenting with flamenco, so that was interesting. But then he called me another time and said, "I have a stereo installation for you, and it's somebody, you need to get here right away." So I got there, and it was Jimmy Buffett in his Jeep, and he wanted a stereo put in his car because his radio was broken. He wanted a cassette player. Maybe he didn't have a cassette player. And so we got all the stuff together, and he went to have lunch, and he never came back. So my joke was, "You owe me $20 for 40 years." But so it was kind of a joke. The first time I got to play with Jimmy was at our friend Carl Hyacint's birthday party, and and it was I know, me too, and I was crying all day yesterday, and he and Carl are really good friends, and his wife at the time, Fania, hired me and Cliff Stutz and my band. So it was me and Cliff and Luke Tomey and Ryan Rains and Nyan, and I think Ryan was there. I'm not positive now. And Ryan Lindbergh, Fania's son, Carl's stepson, and Quinn, Carl's son. We were all playing in a band for Carl's surprise, I think it was his 60th birthday party. And it was a wild party, and Carl was getting roasted. And Jimmy, I brought an extra guitar because I was pretty sure Jimmy was going to be there. And he came up and he says, he says, "Hey, can I play with the band?" And I go, "Yeah, I guess." He goes, "What Jimmy Buffett songs do you know?" I go, "I don't play Jimmy Buffett songs." And he looks at me like, "What do you mean you don't play Jimmy Buffett songs?" It was kind of a joke. And that joke carried on for years and years and years. And he actually lampooned Carl, changing the words to all of his songs when we backed him up in the band. And somehow or another, maybe because everybody was from the Keys, they knew all the horn lines. They knew everything. Mark Berner was in that band too. And trying to think, it was Luke Tomey, Mark Berner, Ryan Nyan, Quinn, the other Ryan Rains, and yeah, it was hilarious. We had such a good time. In fact, Luke and got to play with, I think Cliff too got to play with me and Jimmy again at another thing, which I'll tell you about later. But anyway, it was he's just such a sweetie pie, and the way he kind of changed the vibe of the whole party, kind of took it down this whole other direction that nobody else could have got away with. Because if Jimmy says it, it's okay. It was a great band. That was the Saltwater Blues Band back in the day. So when I worked in the play, in the Escape to Margaritaville, Jimmy says, when we were just kind of talking about it, Jimmy says, "So you going to join the team?" And I said, "What does that mean?" And he just looks at me and he goes, I go, "What does it mean?" He goes, "Well, join the team and find out." But basically what we had to do was teach Broadway actors, singers, performers, how to play Jimmy Buffett songs in Broadway keys with Broadway scene change modulations. Like you might play it, next day it might be, next it might be, might be a weird, flat key here and there, and the changes would happen in the middle of the song as different things, moods were trying to happen in the scene. You'd even take a song that was in a major key and it would end up being, in a minor kind of a sound. But this amazing music producer named Chris Yankee, who was the music director for the musical, he did some amazing arrangements. And so anyway, I had to teach these guys how to do it. And some of these guys really weren't guitar players. I actually tried to give that job to Micah, but they were insistent because Micah knew more about Jimmy Buffett songs than I ever will. So like this song, for example, was not in this key. So that's why I have to think about them. But I just played that one, didn't I? Did I just play that song? I don't know. I'm messed up here. Maybe I'll play a different kind of song here for a minute. I think I was gonna play "Son of a Sailor." I didn't play that one, did I? Did I play that one? Right. So obviously I never play these songs, but they they have a they all have a like really interesting meaning. There are a lot of amazing Jimmy Buffett songs, and if you want to hear somebody who really plays amazing Jimmy Buffett songs, go listen to Micah Gardner. He's a Barstool Sailor. He's an encyclopedia of Jimmy Buffett um, lore, material, history. He's a historian in a lot of ways. You can see him at the Florida Keys Brewing Company and Marker 88 and other places. You can check him out. He's a great musician. I remember teaching Paul Nolan. He had just gotten done doing a Jesus Christ Superstar. Amazing singer. He was the first lead that we taught how to play this stuff, and it was amazing because I took him to see Micah. I took him to see John Mavis. I took him to see Billy and Steve. I took him, Billy Davidson and Steve Webb. I took him to see tons of people in the Keys that covered Jimmy Buffett songs so that he could hear all the stuff. And by the time he got to actually play with Jimmy Buffett at one of the practice gigs that we did, they were real gigs, but they were small audiences. He had developed this whole, not an island boy, right? But he had developed this whole island persona, and he's just such an amazing actor, was able to really embody that whole kind of pirate vibe. We even took him out on the boat a few times and scared him, I think. I haven't talked to Paul yet, but and of course Chris, who kind of has a pirate vibe. Chris Yankee, the arranger, was able to really accommodate and play to his strengths, which was really good. And then when Jimmy Buffett would get on stage and jam with the band, which he would do occasionally after one of the shows, come in and play Margaritaville. And of course, the first thing he would do is take his shoes off. Right? It didn't matter how cold it was. He'd take his shoes off, walk up there with the whole chorus, and everybody would jam out. It was really fun. I don't think that's the right key, but that's true. Definitely the wrong key. Let's try it in G. Like Broadway, right? I think that's right. Okay, you can sing along now. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't play Jimmy Buffett songs, so that's another funny story. So I guess I can tell this one. So he was very funny guy. Is a hard word to say. It's so many people up there jamming with Jimi Hendrix. Anyway, so we were on stage at this gig at the Green Turtle, and I think it was the first night, and he had just looked at the chart that Chris had written. Chris goes, "Okay, I charted out all Jimmy's songs. This is how they go," and I looked at the chart, and Paul looked at the chart, and I don't remember if Cliff was there. I think he was, but I'm fuzzy on this. But and I looked at Chris and I said, "You know he's going to change it, right? It's going to be whatever." He says, "Well, no, he always does this and this and this." I said, "Well, always when?" He goes, "Well, I transcribed this whole live album that he did, and I wrote down everything he did." I said, "Yeah, well, it was a live album, so God knows, right?" And Chris was playing keyboards, and he might have been kicking bass. Maybe that was going on. And of course, Jimmy comes over and he looks at the music. He goes, "What are all the dots?" He was kidding, right? He goes, "I've never seen my music written out before." It was funny. And so we're playing, and we got a bunch of girls singing along, and it's the Green Turtle. So it's this, for those of you who don't know the Green Turtle, it's a tiny little place owned by Bob and Mindy Rich, who were, their company was producing Escape to Margaritaville. Bob Rich is a really great writer in his own right, and he's written some really great books. And Mindy can sing. She's famous for knowing the words to every pop song ever written. When she sits in with the band, she was an official extender in Big Dick and the Extenders, and anyway, so we were there, and Jimmy said, "You know this one, you know this one." I just looked at him. I said, "Well, I'll just play along with with Chris, for whatever he did." And I said, "I told you I don't play Jimmy Buffett songs, And he always gave me this weird look. So we were in. Well, two things happened. One is he put his guitar down, and it was still plugged in. He was taking a break, or whatever. Something else was going on, and other people were playing. Oh, I think Paul and Keeley were singing a song, and his guitar was plugged in, and the PA was on it. I was also running the PA on that one. I had a little wireless PA, and the guitar starts to go, starts to scream, and I had to run over the board and mute his guitar. So I said, "Okay, crisis averted," and then a couple of songs later, we start playing some song. I don't remember what it was, some Buffett song, I guess. And all of a sudden, he's looking at me like this, saying, "I can't hear myself." And he's playing his guitar, and I didn't even see him pick up his guitar. And he's looking at me. I said, "Well, I muted you." And he goes, "Oh, you don't ever mute Jimmy Buffett." "Sorry, Mr. Buffett." So I had to go over and turn him back on. He goes, "Okay, that's better." But, had I not muted him, his guitar would have exploded. So, you just got to stay on top of it. With a real sound guy, they would have just, pressed the button. So anyway, we start playing music, and it's like halfway into the night, and everybody's not drinking, and he looks at me, and we're playing, I don't know, Volcano or something like that. And he looks at me, and he's stormed along, and he gives me this look, like over his shoulder. He goes, expletive, "You're playing Buffett songs now." So that was very funny. And of course, then I did for the next 2 years. I played Buffett songs with the Broadway, teaching the Broadway guys how to, on and off, actually, not for 2 years straight, but it was really fun. The kind of the most fun was in I'm talking a lot, aren't I? The most fun was in what's it, that town near Sandy? La Jolla, because we workshopped that musical in La Jolla, and it was so much fun. And he was there a couple times during that, but it was always interesting to see. And they were actually writing songs. Jimmy was actually writing songs all through there, trying new stuff out. That musical changed every single time there was something new, which was really interesting. Those Broadway people are amazing professionals. I'll get it. Let's figure that part out. That's it. So I was just telling a friend, what Jimmy really did for the world is really, he changed life for a lot of people. Because there are a lot of people, executives, high stress business people who did not have an excuse, to really let go. And I think I said it in a post, I was thinking about it. He gave people the permission to make that course correction, like sailing, right? Do I want to go home, back to my job, back to responsibility, even for whatever amount of time, right? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Or do I want to just have fun, And I think I didn't understand it for a long time. Because I'm kind of type A, right? So you change your attitude, right? So you don't go insane. You change your attitude. And so there's this whole, it's like the Grateful Dead, only bigger, right? There's this whole group of people, parrot heads and non-parrot heads. That's right. He created a world for people to live in. Now there's Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville retirement homes, cruise ships, bars everywhere. People can get that thing, you know. We have friends that just live Jimmy Buffett. I didn't get it. I didn't get it for years. He turned to me one time and he said, you know, Dave, I'm just lucky. And I said, well, I think you're a fucking genius. He goes, no, I'm just lucky. There's so many songwriters out there. I said, yeah, but you write songs that give people something, you know. You know, Mindy Rich really saw that. She really wanted to do this, and she was tenacious about it and got that play done. If you ever get a chance to see it, I don't know if it's still touring. And yeah, I recommend Jimmy's books. Tales from, is it Tales from Margaritaville? Or is it, what's that called, Micah? And then there's Salty Piece of Ground. Salty Piece of Land. That's an amazing book. He's a great writer. He was a great writer. First comes the pleasure and then comes the pain. Sitting on this island waiting out the rain. Motor's high, but you just won't make it. If I get too on the ride, I'll just have to fake it. Like you don't know any better than me. So I wrote this song kind of in his style, I thought, at the time. Let me see if I can sing. So I was on my motorcycle and I was heading to Key West. This was after my trip with Bob. And it was really rainy out. And I had my dog with me. And we got hit by a truck. Just the mirror got hit. And knocked my mirror off my motorcycle. Knocked me and my dog off the bike. And we sat there on the side of the road on the 7 Mile Bridge. This is the old 7 Mile Bridge, mind you. It was fucking skinny. Oh, by the way, Helen and Roger had a bar called Roger in Paradise, which was a Jimmy Buffett tribute bar. Amazing. In Switzerland. You should post some pictures, Helen. It was awesome. Anyway, I got to it might have been the No Name Pub on the other side of the bridge. No, it wasn't. It was a little bridge on the other side of the south side of the 7 Mile Bridge. And I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I thought I was dead. And then I got home eventually. And my friend Jenny Roberts, who's no longer with us either, she got hit by a car. Beautiful girl. I told her the story and she goes, well, you know what they say? First comes the pleasure and then comes the pain. And so I wrote this song. She goes, you should write a song. And I did. First comes the pleasure and then comes the pain. I don't know if it's going to happen. A little choked up, guys. I know. I'll put a capo on. Maybe it'll happen if it's higher. Let's try it there. Because I was younger. First comes the pleasure and then comes the pain. Thinking about this island waiting out the rain. And my motor's high. And she just won't make it. If I get too on the right, I'll just have to fake it. Like you don't know any better than me. When your wires are wet and you just can't see. You feel like you're running. You think you're going down. And you ease up on the throttle and you're back on the ground. First comes the pleasure, and then comes the pain. First comes the pleasure, then comes the pain. And Katie don't know why she can't hold her man. She wants to go with him, but she knows she never can say that she loves him when they say it's time to go. And Blackie don't know any better than me. When your wires are wet and you just can't see. You feel like you're jumping when you know you're going down. You ease up on the throttle and you're back on the ground. Singing first comes the pleasure, then comes the pain. First comes the pleasure, and then comes the pain. You're hoping that it's different when you know it's all the same. Her love is hot, but you just can't take it. She don't build a heart if you're only gonna break it. And Kitty don't know why she can't hold her man. She wants to go with him, but she knows she never can say that she loves him when it's time to go. She wipes away the tears. Girl, you gotta know first comes the pleasure, then comes the pain. First comes the pleasure, then comes the pain. Kind of a depressing song, but it wasn't meant to be. Sorry about my voice. Maybe I get Bill Todd to sing it for me. Yeah, I'm really choked up, and you know, I like I said, we orbited for years, and when we finally got to like spend time together and hang out, he was one of the gentlest, most insightful, funny, brilliant people I've ever met. And, you know, and I didn't get to spend enough time, and I feel really sad for all of his family and his close friends that that lost him. And you know, we were on the phone. Everybody was on the phone yesterday, and kind of like the periphery. You know, and little side things happen. Like Mike Utley, his music director, keyboard player, called Nyan and talked to him for 2 hours on the phone when he got his first job as a music director for Stephanie Quayle's band. And I said, Mike, can you call Nyan and tell him how to be a music director? And he did. And then he calls me back and he goes, he'll be fine. I just told him to hire the best guys. And it worked, you know, and it just the people that Jimmy surrounded himself were amazing, and the people that he attracted, and the people that ended up through whatever kind of cosmic coincidence in his circles are all kind of, they all kind of have that I don't know, a spiritual glue, kind of a do-gooder glue that holds them together. Um, you know, morally, politically, conservationally, you know, um, manatee and Everglades Lee, and just the web of stories that he wound just listening to him in an off the cuff kind of conversation. You can really tell that he loved life, and he, maybe inadvertently, but I don't think so, helped a lot of other people, millions of other people in the world, love life, including me. I mean, I'm a pretty tightly wound guy, and for the longest time, I really avoided having that kind of fun. I'm a serious musician playing. If you guys listen to my music, um, and musicians would make fun. Oh yeah, in the keys you got to play Buffett songs. You got to play Buffett songs. Well, there's a reason you got to play Buffett songs, because you got to play Buffett songs, because Buffett gave people permission to be this relaxed, kind of elevated in a kind of less serious way, versions of themselves. And then, yeah, they go back to their jobs, some of them. My friend Frank came down here, bought us, started listening to Jimmy Buffett, bought a sailboat, and now he owns a private island. And Frank's a great guy, Frank and Monica, that own the kayak shop. I know other guy, Micah, very influenced. Lenore, very influenced in some ways, me and Robert. And you know uh it's Jimmy said something to me once. He goes, my music is lowbrow. I go, it's fucking not lowbrow. It's does a service. There's a thing, it's a thing called tikkun olam, and it means healing the world. And whatever we do in life, we're supposed to help heal the world. I mean, because really, we live this long, obviously, right? We're gone. And, in the realm of the Big Bang and the universe, and even the history of the earth, and even the history of man, we live for a split second. And yeah, you can make money, and yeah, you can whatever, collect shit, and have a lot of kids, which is great, but if you don't do something good for the world, I mean, let me put it this way: when you do things that are good for the world, that ease other people's suffering, or help allow other people to find the joy in simple things or in their lives when maybe they wouldn't have been able to. Everybody has a different kind of joy, and we're lucky when there's something that we find, and when we have people like Jimmy there who help us find that joy. I mean, I find that with his music. I find it with Carl Hyacint's books. I find that listening to my friends play music, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. And I get it when you guys are here, putting up with me playing every Sunday, and, listening to music. And one of the reasons I play music is not because I could make a lot more money playing something else, doing something else. I'm sure I could, go back in engineering or whatever. But, once in a while I see a 3-year-old dancing on the beach, dancing free and just having fun, or somebody comes up to me while I'm packing up and I didn't see him the whole day. They go, wow, that was, I was having a bad day, and that really helped me. And, you musician friends of mine, we all know, and artists, we all know it happens once in a while, and then, wow, I did something good. And, when you're on your deathbed, maybe that makes up for the horrible shit that we do, because we all do horrible shit too. But I think, I don't know how Jimmy was feeling, but I know he was surrounded by his family and close friends, and I know that, we all have our particular way that we loved him, felt about him, and, we should all strive to be people that give that amount back to the world and back to humankind and dogs. So anyway, I'm gonna stop, and that's all I'm giving you tonight. And I'll be back next Sunday. Actually, I won't. I'm gonna be out of the country next Sunday, and I'll post something else for you guys. But I don't normally miss shows, but I actually have a friend's wedding that I'm gonna play in Canada, and but I'll be back after that, and we'll keep doing this as long as we can. We've done 174 shows almost in a row, and a lot of you have been here for all of them. And yeah, don't forget, if you're in the Keys October 8th, I'm not going to be because I'll be in Canada again. And uh, we have a benefit for Steve Miller, and there's a GoFundMe on Facebook, so check it out. Steve is an amazing musician who I met when he was just a teenager, I think, and he had a band called Rosetta Stone, and he was an amazing guitar player then, and he's still an amazing guitar player. Really nice guy. His wife Elisa, just everybody. Really, if you can get to the Caribbean Club on October 8th, go support him. If you can't, try to fund the GoFundMe, because they have a lot of medical bills, and we don't want them to struggle so much. I know the GoFundMe helped Susie and I when we were going through that stuff. And Mark Galobe still has a GoFundMe too, and you can donate to that. Mark had a stroke a while ago, and he's our favorite sound guy. He was on the show here. He's going through rehab now, and we're so happy that is with us tonight, and we're wishing him a speedy recovery. He's walking on his own now, which is fucking amazing. And he still looks funny, but he's always looked funny, right, Mark? Just kidding. We love you, brother. All right, everybody, that's it. I'm signing off. I love you all, and thanks for being here. And yeah, man, put your Jimmy Buffett playlist together, I guess. Time to revisit all that stuff. Go see Micah Barstool Sailor at the Florida Keys Brewing Company, and maybe he'll play you a request. I hope I'm not throwing you under the bus. Micah, but I know Micah is an encyclopedia of that stuff. So, yeah, I'll shut up now. Okay, bye, guys. Yes, and Bill Todd at the Chica. I forgot Bill's filling in for me on Thursday and Saturday this next coming week. So definitely check out Bill Todd. Bill Todd's also filling in for me at Marker 88 on Tuesday the 12th, I think. But if not, just check out his Facebook page or Ellen Summer Art Facebook page. And Bill Todd is also an amazing musician. I don't want to diminish Bill by he's also great. He has got a great voice, and I don't know how many Jimmy Buffett songs he knows, but I'm sure he knows a lot because he grew up down here too. Bill is, in my opinion, Bill is a amazing kind of jazzy guitar player. But I know my video's off, but give Bill a plug. Good night, guys.